My name is Sean Michael Walker with Premier Group Insurance, and what is this podcast called? It's called Insurance You Indemnify Me, which is a throwback to what is it a throwback to? It's a throwback to Jerry Maguire, right? Show me the money.
Oh, yeah. Show me the money. Yep.
Show me the money, except not show me the money. It's you complete me, right?
You bring me back whole.
There you go. You make me whole again. So today, on today's podcast, we have Chad Maxey, my favorite agent. No, I don't. I take that back. You're not my favorite agent. You are the funniest agent I've ever met in my entire life. And I didn't bring you on because you're the funniest, but I do think you're freaking amazing.
But you just told me I was the funniest.
You are the funniest.
Well,
did I just say, what did I just say?
I brought you on because you're the funniest, but you're not the funniest.
That's what I said?
Yeah.
Oh, you
That's
are
right.
the funniest.
That's right.
By the way, I just wanted to do top 3 funniest agents. You, Chad Maxey,
Holtman,
Lance Holtman.
Yep.
And then the third one is going to be Charles McDade from Houston, Texas. And
Love
he's hilarious
Charles.
too. You've met him, right?
Oh, yeah. Awesome guy.
Hilarious. Those 3 agents, if you get them in the same room, I've only got 2 of the 3 in the same room before, and it was like hilarious. So
I actually think there's a picture of you and I hugging with Charles McDade in the picture.
that might show up later. It might show up later in this podcast. So let's first do who is Chad Maxey. Give me the Chad Maxey commercial. Who the heck are you?
Chad
How long have
Maxey,
you been in insurance?
I've been in insurance for way too damn long, more than I like to admit. I was that guy that when I graduated high school, I was like, let's get into insurance. Said no insurance agent ever.
Right.
And here I am.
Not a single person.
No,
Ever.
I was a hospitality guy. I was in the restaurant
Yeah.
business, bartending and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I said, I have to get out of this lifestyle, work until
How long
4
did you do
a.m.
that?
Oh, God. 20 plus years
man.
on that.
Way too long.
Oh, yeah,
The
way
rusty
too long.
bucket, right?
The rusty
Am I allowed to
bucket.
say that?
I don't know. You just did.
Am I allowed to say that, Jacob? Okay, we said it.
Yeah.
Rusty bucket.
Yep.
Okay.
Rusty Bucket Bar and
You're
Grill.
like, we didn't get a single client from that.
No.
From that honorable mention.
No. But yeah, it was a beer and whiskey shot kind of
Okay.
place and what have you. And it was late nights and that sort of thing. And it just wasn't the lifestyle. I went into insurance and I did that years ago. I was actually, let's get out of the insurance business and went to a insurance, what would you call it?
That's where I met you.
Yeah. I went to an insurance work hiring symposium, I guess what you call it. Yeah. So anyways, I go to one of those with one of my good buddies and I actually get hired on with the company's no longer around, but they did health insurance, health insurance for self-employed people.
Okay.
Sold that and I was selling the policies, and one of the policies, how they taught us to sell it wasn't really what it was.
Oh.
So a gentleman that I knew from the bar sat there and said, you need to come to my agency because what you're doing is you're going to get sued over that and it's going to cause problems. So,
and then that's when I met you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And how long had you been there when I met you? I mean, I've known you for what, 12 years? No, not 12,
longer than that.
12 years? About 13 years?
I was probably there for about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 15 years.
Wow.
And I loved it. And the reason why, it was an independent agency. It was a small independent agency, family owned and operated. Yeah. Great place, great people, what have you. But we did everything from the claims, the service, the sales, everything. So I really got into
a ton of learning.
Yeah. I mean, that's insurance, like everyone says, if you don't like insurance, it's going to change tomorrow and that sort of thing. So it's always a learning thing coming up, a little nugget of knowledge that always comes down the pipeline. But that's what I loved about that. I was there, I learned a hell of a lot. And then when I left, I guess I just didn't know my value and what have you, and went on to another agency that was a big agency, big group and what have you. And 6 years there. And
did you were 6 there?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. 6 whole years there. And then it was time for me to go and came on with you guys over here and haven't looked back.
As an independent insurance agency owner for what, 2 years now?
This is going on my 3rd year right now.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Has anybody ever told you look like Steve Martin besides myself?
Do you mind if I relieve myself right here? Anyone knows the movie quote? Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
I love Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yes.
I was actually going to bring in a pot and pan and ask you to like run around the room going, Oklahoma.
You shut up. I would have done it.
So how many people have said this in your life? Like try and quantify for me. 20 times? 30 times?
That I look like
Martin? How many times have you been told this?
0. More from, who was it, in Friends? One of from Friends, Chandler.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone said I look like Chandler from Friends.
My daughter the other day said I looked like Bradley Cooper, and I'm like, you can stay.
Yeah, you can stay.
You can
I'll
stay.
keep that.
I'll let you stay in my house throughout your teenage years. And that's a great compliment. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody really ever.
No.
You grade early though.
Very
Like
early. Then I had
what's his
kids.
face?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Salt and
Your
pepper since I was
partner
18.
in crime in your agency is
Patrick Ballard.
and your wife. I was looking for my wife.
Yeah, well, and my wife. Okay, we edit that out. It is absolutely my wife. She
Your
is
wife's
my.
gonna be like, "What the heck are you doing?"
She is absolutely 100% my partner.
Okay,
She
cool.
is the thing that holds us together and
Yeah.
what have you.
Yeah.
And it's always she leads me back on the path
Yeah.
of where I need to be in focus, what have you, because
Yeah.
I get distracted a lot. I'm a squirrel.
Oh yeah.
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 So
And tell the world where you're at right now. Like tell us about your life right now. So you became an independent insurance agent. You started killing it real quickly.
Yep.
Things started getting financially comfortable again very, very quickly after you left the last job. And what did you do?
left the last job. Anyways, I came to you guys and I'll do a little backstory, and it's not a happy backstory, but my father passed away. My father passed away due to cancer from Vietnam, sarcoma cancer, and what have you. And that was a really hard time for me, and what have you. And he passed away about 6 months later. The place that I was working at was no longer going to be there. It's still around to this day, but
it was changing fast.
It was changing fast, and I didn't like the changes personally. But anyways, my wife and I went camping one time, and I had a decision to make of what direction I wanted to go. Do I want to go work for another company and be a sales manager and what have you and do that realm again, or do I want to do this on my own?
Yeah.
Lindsay, love you to death. She wouldn't give me an answer, what have you. And finally I was like, I need to get a couple drinks in her, and we're camping up here, and then she'll loosen up and she'll tell me exactly what I want to hear. Because I wanted her guidance, because I wanted her to definitely be a part of what the decision process was. Lo and behold, I asked her, I said, what should we do here? What should we do? Yeah. She goes, do you know what your dad would tell you? And I was like, I know exactly what my dad would tell me. And she goes, that's what you need to do. And here we are.
So what would your dad have said? So I mean, I know you know what your dad
why
would say,
let somebody else hold the reins on your potential and what you were doing?
That's what your dad would have said.
Yep.
Word for word. Like if
word
he was here, that would be a quote right
You've
out
been
of his
doing
mouth.
it. You know it. Go do it. You've got the drive. Go make it happen. Yeah. Why have somebody else hold you back?
And so you came back from the camping trip going, I know what my next chapter looks like.
Man, I think that's when I called you and said,
let's
roll.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I've never looked back.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so you've literally been rolling for the last 2 years. What does that what does that mean? Where are you guys physically in the United States?
Right now we're in Oregon. Next week I'll be in Washington State. Probably a month after that I'll be in Idaho. So right now basically what happened was COVID came along, opened up the agency, opened up in October of 2019, November 2019. Right after that, everyone knows the lovely COVID came around and hit us. I opened up an agency. Next thing I know, my 2 kids, love them to death. They come home, and I'm now homeschooling them while my wife is actually out bringing home the health insurance benefits for us. So she's bringing home the health insurance benefits, working for another company, being a barista and what have you. So she's bringing in the benefits. So she's working early in the morning. I'm running an agency. The kids are at school. Next thing you know, the kids come home, and now my wife and I are just 500 miles an hour. Wow. We find out what they're doing with the schools and what have you. And I'm like, man, that really sounds like they're putting them in jail. They're putting them in plexiglass and yada, 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 what they're talking about.
Way too political of a statement. Cut that crap out.
Well, true. But anyways,
just
so we sat there and we looked at it, and Lindsay came downstairs one morning, and I was working. She came home from work. She goes, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I was like, we're growing out of this house. Chaos is going on. She was like, we've always talked about showing their kids the world. We named our agency Atlas Insurance Services because we wanted to show our kids the world. So what we did is we were going to, our backstory, let me back up a little bit. We were going to take our kids every time they got out of school. We were going to pack up our camper and go travel for 2-3 months. Yeah. And I was like, now that I'm a independent insurance agent, 1099, have my own agency, we can do that. As long as we have Wi-Fi, we can travel. Fast forward, that was always our dream. Fast forward probably about a year once we started doing this, COVID hit, we sold our house. Yeah. We said, screw it, let's put it up on the market. We sold the house. We had 54 showings during COVID in 2 days, got well over asking value. Wow. And we've been traveling the country for the last 2 years in a travel trailer.
Wow. Do you wish you still had it since Colorado's been going crazy still? Or are you like, no, we don't need it?
Lindsay and I were just talking about it. I wish we kept that as a rental property, what have you. And I've already looked at my house and it went up another 100,000. Should have kept it.
Why didn't we Airbnb that thing? Okay.
Yeah. So for the last 2 years,
yeah,
I've been running an agency in the back of a travel trailer.
Yeah.
Every 2-3 weeks, we change locations. So you never know where in the country I'll be. But right now,
and your clients are none the wiser, right? I mean, your clients are like, hey, I don't care where you are. I just care that you have internet and you can talk to me when you need to talk to me.
Right. Yep.
That's so cool.
Sometimes we get to a place and you just got to roll with the punches. Sometimes you get to a place, you don't have cell phone coverage, you don't have Wi-Fi, you got to pack up and go. Yeah.
Have you pulled over while you're driving from point A to point B and been like, I got to bind this policy now. I don't care what time we get to the campsite tonight. This has to happen.
Yep. All the time.
Let me ask, so the obvious question is will you place business with carriers that are easier than others so that you don't have to pull over for 4 hours to get it done? And you can say, I just have to pull over for 20 minutes and I'll get it done. Don't worry. We'll keep moving.
1,000%.
Yeah. Yep. So you're telling me you're in control of where the business is, and the ease of use, oftentimes not the price, is what dictates and directs where your business might go.
Yes and no. I guess in the past, there was a carrier out there that this is years ago, they were the easiest to work with. I could rock and roll through a quote and I can get you a quote out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
I'd place my business with them all the time.
Yeah.
Because it was easy.
Yeah.
Now it's me and I'm running the agency, what have you, and we're mainly looking for what's best suited for the client, for their coverage needs, assess their needs and what they need, and we move forward with that. Yeah. I've just been doing this so damn long with all these carriers. I know them with like the back of my hand. So there's not one that's easier and harder to work with for me. There's just like the unknowledge of a new carrier. Yep. So
we got an old-fashioned picture here. This is actually an Allstate. It says up in the top right-hand corner, Allstate Automobile Insurance. This was clearly taken back in the 50s or something. I have no idea. But what was the insurance industry like when you started? It obviously wasn't like this. You didn't wear a bow tie that big, right?
Close, but no. No, I mean, back when I started insurance, we actually literally, and I don't know if you had this, but we had 3-ring binders.
Yeah, we did.
All the way over with all the VIN numbers. So if you wanted to code the VIN, you can go grab the binder, open it up, and figure out the year, make, model, where it was made, everything about the vehicle. Yeah. You had to physically grab, there was no...
The rating book.
The rating book. There was no phone calls and binding it over the phone. They had to literally come into your office, sign you a check, hand sign the application. Right. Mind you, you didn't pull a motor vehicle record back then. Right. They didn't have the online availability for it. You ask them, any accidents or violations in the last 3 to 5 years for you? Right. No.
Okay, I believe that.
No answer. And you would literally put it in an envelope and send it off to the carrier. And about 3 weeks later, you get your policy back with the motor vehicle records pulled and all that stuff. Yeah. Then you have the irate customer coming in. Why'd my rates go up? Well, because you had...
Because we were using a book.
You had 4 speeding tickets and you told me 0. Right. So we caught you.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that's what it looked like. That was before websites? I mean, were you like I came in at I think maybe 2001 or 2002. Yeah. And I remember carriers would bring in a CD-ROM disc and update the program on the computer with the updated rates, if you will. You know what I mean? Before it actually went web-based.
I was around when it was web-based.
There was one book that we would use too, that we'd have to flip through the book and do things, but that's about as far back as I go.
I've never had to hand rate because it was always in there. And I was around, there was a rater, can't remember the name of the company, but it probably doesn't even matter. It would give you a guesstimate. Yeah. It would give you a guesstimate of who was competitive and who wasn't competitive. And every time you quoted it with that carrier and actually went in and did it,
it changed everything.
It was nowhere close. Yeah. So it was garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
Garbage in, garbage out.
All right. This question's going to zing you. You have no idea what this question is. But have you ever heard of Roamly? You're an RV guy. So Roamly. I think it's like an Airbnb insurance for RV people, and you're an RV person. So
I honestly have not.
You've never heard of Roamly? Okay,
no.
Good. Okay, that's fine.
But can I
Can I
appointment with him?
I'm working on it. It was funny. I had a conversation with Roamly last week, and I said, I've got an RV guy coming in. Yeah. And he's all up in this community, and I'm going to ask him if he knows who Roamly is. And they said, okay, well, we'll see. But Yeah. So supposedly they kind of pick up where most insurance companies drop off. So they'll say, hey, most insurance companies will say, hey, we don't want to do an Airbnb kind of situation for somebody who's renting their thing out for 4 days or 5 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And so, the Safeco policy might not have friendly policy language as it relates to me renting my stuff out to you. And supposedly the Roamly policy does. So I have no idea.
Yeah, that'd be good. And I know other carriers do offer that kind of coverage for you. It's kind of like ride share, what have you. It's RV share, what have you. They do have that coverage, kind of like you're doing that we have with personal vehicles if you lend it out and what have you, and pick up for passenger, what have you. But there is coverage out there for it.
Okay, cool. Funniest insurance story ever to have ever happened in your entire life. I want to tell you mine, by the way. We'll cut it out. We can't ever figure out how to get it on, but it's all religious and it's really funky. We'll cut it out, but I'll tell it to you.
Okay, good, because you got to.
Yeah, I will.
So this is going to go with the lovely and talented Miss Trinity Dillon.
I think I might have a picture here somewhere.
Put her up there.
There she is. Trinity Dillon, right there.
Trinity Dillon.
On display.
Trini and I were in the Rusty Bucket.
I took that picture of her this morning.
Oh, did you?
What the heck?
So we actually met each other through the Rusty Bucket that we mentioned earlier, and we worked there for I don't know how long, a long time. Okay. Her and I went to go work for this small independent agency that was family-owned agency together, and that's where we met. So I've known her she's my sister. So Trini loves to play practical jokes on people. Yeah. So we used to call from the old agency into the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
And we would just razz them about whatever it was. We'd disguise our voice and ask them what's on the menu. Is that gluten-free and whatever? And we just knew we were irritating the bartender, asking the most outlandish thing. And she loves to pull pranks. So anyways, we're at the bar one night, and some of our good friends sat there and said, you know what I want to do? I want to get that damn Trini Dillon back. And I was like, what do you mean you want to get her back? What happened? Well, she's always playing practical jokes on me, and I want to get her back. And I'm like, well, I work in an insurance agency with her, right? Yeah, right. And they're like, well, yeah, what can you do? I was like, well, I've got a whole file. By the way, we had file systems back in the day. Yeah, right. So I went back in the file room, and I'm like, I can go back in the file room and I can pull out one of her clients that she knows personally, and I can give you all their information.
Oh, no.
And you can call in as that client. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm totally going to do it.
That's funny.
So my friend calls the next morning. I give her, I didn't even know the name. I won't say, we'll call her Joan Smith. But anyways, I call the friend. Yeah. And I give her Joan Smith's name. Yeah. The year, make, and model of the vehicle that she's driving.
This is going to be great, I hope.
Oh, yeah. And so then she calls in and she goes, Trini, this is Joan Smith.
Oh, no.
I just hit somebody.
Oh, no.
My Toyota is all messed up. Trini's just going, oh my God. And Trini, she's
a human being?
She's a sweetheart, what have you. And mind you, I knew this was happening, and I run into the boss's office, and I'm like,
this is going to be good.
This is going to be good. This is a joke. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. So he was within 2 seconds was in on it. So Trini's a sweetheart, and she's kind of like, oh my God, you just hit somebody? She's like, yeah, and I didn't know what to do, so I left the scene, and there's police showing up now. Now, mind you, this gal is probably, I want to say 70, 75-ish, the client that I grabbed for. So anyways, poor Trini thinks that this client
has done a hit and run.
Just hit somebody. The ambulance and police are now on scene. Joan Smith just left the scene of the action and is doing a play-by-play for Trini Dillon of what's going on.
Football field away in a parking lot.
And what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And Trini's like, go back there. Oh my God. She goes like, I need to go talk. Can I call you back real quick? So she hangs up and she walks into the boss's office and says, did you hear what's going on? One of my clients just hit somebody. He goes, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Go deal with it. Yeah. And she was like, well, screw you. So she goes back out there and she just calls the person back, or the person calls back, or whatever it was, calls back and just starts razzing Trini, razzing. And the next thing you know, she goes, gotcha, bitch. And Trini just sat there and she looked straight up at me because our desks were side by side. If she could have murdered me because she knew that I was the only one that could have gotten our mutual friend the information,
make it happen.
She just wanted to wring my neck. And so
that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Well, so many funny stories that you come across with insurance, not funny stories, but even
serious ones.
Serious ones. Yeah, I had a story. This is an insured. I had written her house.
Yeah.
policy for her. Next thing I know, I get a carrier inspection on the home.
Yeah.
This is up in Blackhawk, by the way. And I get a cancellation because there's a mine shaft in the backyard.
Oh, did you tell me this one before? I think I've heard this.
Probably. And I'm like, there's a what? A mine shaft in the backyard?
That's crazy.
They're like, yeah, there's a mine shaft. Well, this house was being sold in the middle of winter. So there was 4 feet of snow. They couldn't see whatever. And they sent out their inspector, and the inspector said, there's a mine shaft. So I called the client and I'm like, I got a non-renewal. Is there a mine shaft in your? Is there a mine shaft in your backyard, by the way? Yeah, there is. There's a little. She goes, it looks like an outhouse, but if you open up that outhouse, there's a mine shaft back there. I'm like, is it open? Like, can you fall in the hole? She goes, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I was like, well, how far down does it go? I'm hoping it's like filled and you can only fall down.
You're like, oh no.
And she's like,
no.
She's like, I have no idea.
I've never seen the bottom.
And I'm like,
we rappel down it all the time.
Well, the story doesn't get better, but I was like, well, they're going to cancel your policy. And honestly, I'm like,
I don't blame them.
I'm like, yeah, I don't blame them. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with your home insurance.
Yeah, right.
How often do you come across this? Hey, I need to insure a mine shaft. Will you guys take this?
Right.
So I'm calling carriers just to do my due diligence of what I want to do. And
Crazy.
I'm calling these carriers and
you're like, we'll put a padlock on it if you want.
Yeah, can we do anything with this? They're like, fill it with cement. And I'm like, that's going to happen. Pull up the cement truck. Let's just start dumping cement in there. Once it's filled, let's seal that puppy off. Well, no, we'll take it. I'm like, never going to happen. She loses it because she thinks it's all my fault. I'm going through this relationship issue. I'm getting divorced from my husband and da. What am I going to do? It went down the rabbit hole where she did what you're not
say down the mine shaft hole.
Down the mine shaft hole.
Went down the mine shaft hole.
I don't know how this is cardinal sin.
Okay.
As an insurance agent, is you never ever give out what to your clients? Your underwriter's phone number.
Oh yeah.
Somehow, way, shape, or form. I've known this because I've been in the business for so long. This is after I've been in the business for 15, 20 years, what have you. That's like the cardinal sin that you do.
Right.
Call my underwriter, see what they say. Yeah. You never do.
Don't bother me anymore. Bother the underwriter now.
Somehow, she got my underwriter.
This is bullcrap. The first time I heard the story, this is the second time. You told me you gave the underwriter's number to her. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
You're riding me under the bus. Back that shit up.
What was the underwriter's name? We're going to tag her on.
Yeah, we can't. She's no longer with the company, but she knew where it was. I actually called her and I was like, what are we doing on this? What do we do? She's like, Chad, we can't insure this.
We're not doing anything on this.
Yeah. So I'm like, next thing I know, about 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, she calls my cell phone. She's like, you got to build a relationship with your underwriter. But she calls me on my cell phone. She goes, did you just give that client my phone number? I'm like, no.
I would never.
You never do that. She's like, well, I don't know how she got a hold of me. I'm like, I don't either. No clue. Yeah. I was like, what's going on? She was like, she's razzing me. She's crying over the phone to me too. We actually, the funny thing was the underwriter said,
you're like doing the math. They're like, this is not worth $300.
No. Like you always say, what is a $5 an hour agent versus $100 an hour agent? My wife actually uses that for me on me all the time now.
That comes up on the slideshow.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Perfect. You're welcome, Lindsay, because here comes. She uses it on me all the time. Yeah. Are you a $5 an hour agent or a $100 an hour agent? Right.
You're like, shut up, Sean Walker.
Shut
out of my mobile home.
God, stop it. But anyways, long story short, the underwriter says, well, if she calls you back, just tell her, give her this phone number, because it was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
She's now freaking out on the phone, yada, yada. Give her this escalation number. Yeah. They will handle it for us. What'd the escalation team do?
Denied it.
Gave them my number. So all they do is route the number right back to me. I'm like, I'm trying to get rid of her. She's crazy. Anyways.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you never wrote it?
No.
That's crazy.
I don't know where you put that.
Mine shaft in the backyard.
Mine shaft in the backyard.
Do you remember
just
that
for your kids to
back
play
in
with?
The 80s that the little baby girl fell down the mine shaft? Do you remember that?
Was it my insurance?
No, it was Texas, and I don't remember. Do you remember that? It was in Texas. You were way too young. Never mind. Okay, picture we have up here is a picture of some name tags. There's the insurance guys conference. There's the INA conference. There's the InsurTech, and there's BrainShare, which is Jason Cass's conference. But what conferences have you been to ever before? Which ones do you like? Do you like going to them? Do you not like going to them?
I love them. I love them. I think everyone should go to them. And I've actually talked to my business partner, Patrick, about doing more of them, of just he and I going, because I think they really they bring life into it.
Yeah.
You're not, I think that's one of the problems agency owners have is they're just so not narrow-minded, but they're so laser focused on what they want that they don't think outside of the box and go into these conferences, hopes you go, oh my God, I didn't know you can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, the last conference, I'm going to give him a shout out. CJ Huntsmiller out there,
it was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
He said that was his first time talking in public. And I was like,
really?
What are you talking about? That was amazing.
Great. I mean, he was giving little nuggets of what he does for his automation.
Oh my
Just mind blowing. I'm like, how in the world do you actually do that?
Yeah.
So how do you have the time, CJ? And I'm going to pay you, CJ, to come hook up my agency, please. But
are you going to the Soup one in Dallas?
No, I wish I was.
I think he's talking at that one too.
Is he?
Yeah, just anecdotally.
Definitely worth it.
But you're right. That his presentation, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's like nuggets like that. You're like, I never thought of that. But look at the value you're giving your clients on the daily. And he does a lot of automation. He's almost amazing. He's the person. He's the agent there, but not there doing it. The automation's doing it for him, and he looks like a rock star. He is a rock star.
He doesn't look like, he kind of looks like a rock star. Like a 1984 rock star.
If you ever have him on the podcast, the man he takes off the hat. That's the one thing I remember.
So I'm emceeing the Soup event next month, and I definitely guarantee I'm going to do a CJ Huntsmiller impersonation. It's going to be easy. I'll just put on a hat and put my bangs down.
Yeah, put your bangs out here. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm CJ Huntsmiller. And write a little like a little pony, like a little stick pony.
Stick pony in. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So what makes the insurance industry foxy to you, and what makes you want to stay?
What makes it foxy to me? A couple things. I mean, the insurance industry is always moving and shaking. There are carrier underwriting guidelines that are always changing. Yeah. You've got to be on top of the market. Everyone's situation is different. So it's not a new thing every single day. It's something's always changing. Something's always different. It's always moving. I also like that you're not bound. That's what's foxy to me is I'm only held back by what I can do as an agent.
Yeah.
If
that's a really good point.
If
you want to work harder, you work harder and make more money.
If I want to make more money, work harder.
If you want to chill
out, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do literally whatever you want to do. Hell, I'm traveling the country in a travel trailer. I wish I'd brought you a picture and sent it to you. We literally made a little desk, and I am working out of the back of a travel trailer, selling insurance and making a great living doing it and enjoying the family time. Yeah. That's what makes it sexy for me. Yeah. For me to be able to spend those times, and I'll never forget this. It just came to my mind. When I first opened up my agency. Yep. When I first opened up my agency, and I think I sent you the picture, right? It was on wherever it might have been. But I just started, and I think it was 2 weeks into it. You get that mindset when you work for someone or a company, what have you, that you do what they tell you to do.
Right.
And it's Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and I get to work at this time, and I get off at this time, and TPS reports and what have you. And it's just, it gets day in and day out. But I'll never forget, I went and picked up my kids from school. Yeah. I was working from home. Went and picked up my kids from school. It was snowing outside. Yeah. Daddy, can you build a snowman with us? And I was like, I got to go to work. And I was like, no, I can build a snowman with you. Yeah. Set my bag down. I went out and built a snowman, had a snowball fight with my kids. Best day ever. I
got to tell you, I was sitting at my desk the day I saw you post that or whatever on Facebook or whatever. And I was like, what am I doing with my life?
And I was like,
don't get me wrong, I love my life.
And I was like, Sean, I'm also hiring. So
I was like, I've never built a snowman with my children after school. I was like, what am I doing with my life?
It's just awesome. And I mean, the things that my kids are able to do because I'm in the position that I am in now, I hope I'm building that, in insurance, you build that legacy. I mean, you build the legacy because of what you want to do and what I can pass down to my kids and let my kids grow too. But it's also that legacy of, I want my legacy to live on. You remember when we did X? Do you remember when we did this? Memories don't go away.
Yep. My dad always said, you can't put a price tag on memories.
Not at all. That's worth its weight in gold. And the things that my kids and I have been able to do with my wife and go out and see the things we've done, it's because of what I do.
Yeah. I think 1,081 houses burnt down in Boulder not long ago. A lot of those houses are underinsured. In this accident, this happened in my neighborhood. A car went through the one side of a garage, out the other side of the garage, into another house's garage, and ruined 2 houses. It actually knocked the house off the foundation, and it turned into a humongous loss. It stayed like that for about 6 months before anybody actually started to try and fix the house. How are you educating your customers these days with increased, what do they got here? I got it right here, but we got increased lumber prices and increased asphalt shingles and 18 weather-related disasters that cost over $1 billion and 18.6% material goods of residential construction costs up over the last past year, and 358,000 job openings in construction as of August 2021.
Yep.
This is all leading to raised loss costs, and we're finding folks are horribly underinsured in Boulder. How are you educating your clients about coverage?
That's step one. If you're not an educator to your client and they don't know what they're purchasing and they're just looking at the price, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
If your client looks down at the bottom dollar and says, that's $1,000 policy, I'll take that all day long, because you strip down the coverage, you're not doing your job.
Yeah. Right.
You got to look at, what happened up there with the folks that are underinsured. It's horrific. And I can never imagine what they're still going through to this day. I mean, how long ago was that? That was December.
Late December, like the January, like December 30th or December 31st. Or
so we're right at 5 months ago that happened. Whatever. They're just getting debris removed. So, it's the loss of use. Are you doing 12 months or are you doing 24? Why are you doing 12 months?
Yeah.
Why put that on there?
Yeah.
How much does it cost? $20 per year?
Right.
If you're doing on 12 months per year versus 24, you're selling on price, sell on coverage, sell on what will protect your client. Yeah. I've always been of the motto as an insurance agent is at the end of the night, I like to go to bed and I like to sleep well. And I don't want that call at the middle of the night. So they're going, did Chad ever put
this into that? Yeah. And you're like, whoa, how did I didn't ever do that.
Correct. Yeah. I don't want that call of, hey, this just happened with my house. Yeah. Do I have coverage? I want to go, yes, you do. Yeah. Without even pulling it up in the computer system, because that's just the way I do everything. Right. You max out the coverage on the extended replacement cost. Uncapped guarantee replacement cost or 150. Yeah. I can't tell you the last time I did 125, 120. Right. Yeah. It's insuring the home to value. My wife, Lindsay, and I were just talking about it the other day. We do.
You've mentioned her like 100 times already. She must be a pretty spectacular woman.
She is. She's beautiful.
Yeah. I used to mention my wife in all of these, and I eventually
I'm going to apologize for the car ride that I'm going to apologize for the car ride I made her do yesterday. It was a 2-hour car ride to Portland, Oregon to catch the plane to be here today. So I'm sorry, babe.
Yeah. But I thought you were going to apologize for like making your family listen to this like 5 times.
We already had this discussion. She said it. I'm like, babe, you don't need to listen to it.
Sorry, Nat. I'm recording a podcast right now. Okay. I love you too. Bye. We were just talking about you.
That's why she called you. That's why she called you. But I was telling her the other day, I was like, you don't need to listen to this podcast. After 5 minutes, you can turn it off because you already hear all this garbage from me all the time. Right. She was like, yeah, you're right. She's probably like, thank you. But, Lindsay and I were talking about it the other day. The biggest thing is like, even when we're doing the replacement cost estimator, even if it's a economy bathroom, what have you, put it as semi-custom. Yeah. Give yourself a little wiggle room in the dwelling amount. Yeah. There's always the unforeseen, but as long as you're doing the right thing for the client, not for you, you're not doing the right thing for you. You're not doing the right thing for the mortgage. Yeah. Do it for the client. What best suits them best, then you're writing good business, period.
Yep. We talked about the insurance guys convention at the Broncos Stadium for half a second. Yep. It was, I think it was, I don't know what, powered by Glovebox.
Yep.
Ooh, tell me about Glovebox.
Glovebox is going to be a beast. Yeah. I think what Glovebox is doing
it sure is evolving quickly.
It is. It is.
Do you use it?
I do not, but I want to.
Yeah.
What they're doing over there, because the guys, Ryan and Andy, love you guys, but what they're doing over there is they started out with, I think, and I don't talk to them ever, so I'm just seeing them grow and evolve Glovebox into what it is. It's pretty astonishing what they're doing, what have you, and they're opening up doors for agents down the road with working with APIs and people don't know what APIs are, and neither do I, but that's all right. That's what we talk about.
Service APIs.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're getting access to carriers directly and what have you. And so you have a better client customer relationship experience and what have you. So they're building that. And I love that, because that's where they came from. They came from insurance, servicing, selling, and all that stuff. Now they're building something that they know that will work. And Mulhern out there too. Sean's doing great things with them too.
I heard he's growing his fro back out. So
I hope he is.
Cool. Yeah.
If Sean and I actually grew out our hair,
you guys would look pretty.
We look pretty similar, because Yep.
Tell me about the last time you fired a client. Why you fired a client? How you fired the client? Tell me about firing the client, because you can't be a $100 an hour agent without firing a client every once in a while.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about, and it's how much time is that client taking? Or are they calling you because they want to know if they bought a red vehicle versus a white vehicle, which one's going to be cheaper?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's how much time are you?
And you're fired.
And you're fired. I mean, are they wasting your time? Are they wasting your day?
Yeah.
Are they making you money or not making you money?
Right.
And you're not going to see eye to eye with every single client.
Right.
You just aren't. I mean, not everyone's meant to get along with everyone in this world. And sometimes you're just going to get that client that you just don't see eye to eye. What you think that the client needs is not what they want. And they want to be underinsured, and you're just not willing to do it. Mm-hmm. Fire them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them from the get-go.
Yep.
I need to be better at that sometimes too, but it's not underinsuring clients. But I mean, when clients call me and they say, yeah, I want state minimum limits 25, 50, 15. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Do you know what that last number of 15 means? Right. That's property damage. Name me all the vehicles on the road that are over $15,000 in value. Right. Every single one of them, except for your 1982 Honda Accord.
Exactly.
So it's just, those are the clients that if that's all they want and that's all they want to hear, move on to the next. Find somebody that finds the value in what you do.
Yeah, I want to read this example. It might not be viewable, but it says, our brokerage is this was sent from an agent to a client, and this is the agent's way of firing the client. This agent has since died. He was a very good friend of mine, by the way, in Pennsylvania. But it says, our brokerage has a fairly sizable customer base that is run entirely by, it's blacked out, but let's just say 2 people. I can honestly say we are not equipped to provide the level of communication it seems you are looking for, because the client was asking about red cars and blue cars and white cars. And they're like, what the heck are you talking about? We're not going to communicate with you this frequently. While I really appreciate the opportunity to quote your insurance, I think you might have a better experience with an insurance agent that has a larger team of customer service representatives. If the quotes are competitive, I've included other local brokerages below that sell, let's just say, auto insurance products, and can likely help should you choose to move forward with the insurance policies. And basically saying, here's 3 different insurance agencies. Go call them. Leave me alone.
Yep.
You've done that before?
Yep. Absolutely.
I love it. This agent used to send me this probably once a week. Like, this is how I fired this client this week. And I thought, this is exactly what I'm talking about when we're talking about being a $100 an hour agent versus a $5 an hour agent.
Correct.
Yeah. Have you ever been so hungry where you're like, oh, I gotta write the policy and I've gotta keep the client because I've gotta make the $152 because I've gotta feed my kids and fill up the gas tank to get from the next campground to the next one? Where you're like, forget it. This is craziness. There's no way I'm gonna be that person. Yeah,
you can't be that person. I mean, if agents want to think about what's taking up their time, what's eating up their time of day from making more money and what have you, and their daily of what they're doing as an agent, it's those clients you got to get rid of. I mean, I think a lot of agents get tied up into either the quote for too long. I got to win this quote for so long. I've been doing this quote for 2-3 hours and I can't find something that beats their premium.
Yeah, let it go. Walk away from it.
You're selling on price too.
Yep,
you're not selling yourself. You're not selling your value that you bring as an agent. A lot of agents just look at the price, and you're looking at the price. What do you think your client's doing too?
Right.
Get that mentality out of there.
Yep. Take that off the table immediately.
Your value, you have value too.
Yep.
Make your client buy you for value.
Okay. Here's the philosophical question of the day.
Oh Lord.
Okay. We divide being an agency owner into 3 buckets. Okay. Mm-hmm. Service and retention, administration and operations, or pipeline and sales. And we have the middle triangle that is 25% of the time. Which of these 3 things that you do will you say, I'll dedicate 50% of my time and 25% of my time on the other 2? Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm going to answer this a completely different way, not the way you want me to.
Okay, that's all right.
This always moves. Okay. This is a moving target, because if we're talking about a new agent, brand new starting off, and
I'm sales, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's admin and operations, because I think if you don't have your process, if you don't have your process, you've got to have your process of how you want to run your agency.
That is so true.
If
how
you
many
don't
agents do you ask, hey, what's your process? And they're like, I don't know. What are you talking about? I sell policies and bind them.
Yeah. A lot of agents don't boil down to what they need to be able to operate day to day.
Yeah.
You can turn on sales at any given point in time, and that should automatically already be going.
Yeah, right.
I was lucky enough when I was coming over that I already knew, just because of what I was doing, how I wanted to operate.
Yeah.
But it's also a different animal when you have other people working with you, for you, alongside you, what have you. But you need to have the process of how your agency wants to look, feel, run, and where it's going to go into the future. Because if you don't have that, you don't have any goals. Yeah.
And that way, when your wife doesn't obey the process, you can be like, we're not fighting because I am right and you're wrong. We're fighting because I made a process and you're not following it.
You're fired. She's fired me 3 times over already.
Wow, 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm lucky. But I think it goes from admin and operations to how you want to streamline your process, how you want to make it look, feel, as far as your sales, service, where you want to hit your target market. And
that's a good answer. I've never had anybody give me that answer. So that's
it doesn't need to take you that long, but I mean, you also have to build your website, your landing pages, and all that stuff, and that all needs to be done before you hit the ground, because you want to look like an agency. Then it goes into pipeline to sales. I mean, we used to have the saying: if you're not calling, you're quoting. If you're not quoting, you're selling. If you're not selling, you're calling. Call, quote, sell. Call, quote, sell.
Circular.
It's circular.
You're never done.
Yep. So once you have that set off, you can wipe that off your plate and go sell.
Okay.
And when you're sick of selling, keep on selling.
Okay. And that becomes 50% of your time.
Yep. Okay. Absolutely. And then service and retention. I mean, you're looking at that, and you'll have a few clients in year 1 for your service, but your retention comes in year 2. Yeah. So that's why that's number 3. But in year 3 or 4, where I am now, it's switching into more of a service retention, especially with what we're going through with all the costs of lumber and rates going through the roof right now. Everyone's in there going, what's going on with my renewal? You know, now I'm focusing on the retention, because I want to keep what I have built and worked my butt off so hard for. I want to keep that in-house. I'm not going to lose that to somebody else.
But you say that, but it's funny because you're here in Denver this week to go talk to mortgage brokers and continue the pipeline and sale piece, right?
You can't stop.
No, of course not.
You can't stop ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to be to the point of where I no longer have to go mortgage broker shopping and looking for that referral partner or what have you.
It's self-sustaining.
It's self-sustaining. And I want to, did you get your 2 leads per day? You know, I used to have a saying, 2 leads per day keeps the chat away. You know, back when I was a sales manager, 2 leads a day keeps the chat away. I mean, if you think about it, if you're an independent agency, you should have north of a 50% close ratio. Yeah. Just do the math.
It's true.
I mean, 2 leads per day, you're closing 1 lead per day.
Yep.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
1 lead per day.
1 household a day.
Yep. Wherever you are in the country, probably here in Colorado, we're about $3,500 to $4,000 average household premium. You're writing 60, 70K a month with your eyes closed. What are you doing? Are you focusing now on this too much? Yeah. Are you going into sales and pipeline? Are you focusing, where are you dividing your energy? I mean, you got to really focus on what you want to do and get it going, but you can't stop on any of this stuff. I mean, that's when you get into it. The industry's always changing. You've always got to change. Yeah.
And so you're saying, I know you can't stop on any of those 3 things, but you're saying it evolves at any moment in time where you're saying, I have to spend 50% of my time on this specific bucket this time at this season of my agency's evolution.
You've got to spend more hours working in the day. You can't just sit there and go, I'm not going to focus on sales. I need to put in an extra hour a day on service and retention. I need to create this. I need to do this, what have you. So, or you need to get like the guys over at Glovebox to help you retention and see what they can do and get that going for you and have the client experience for the service side and what have you. So little things like that make the agents. I think that's where a lot of agents get wrapped up too. Yeah. Spinning it in the wrong bucket.
Yeah. Do you think this ad has do you think this ad is accurate? It's a lemonade ad that says, it's on the top of a taxi cab, I think in New York City. And it says, insurance without 100 years of experience screwing you. It's a funny ad. I like the ad a lot, but do you think it's accurate?
Yes and no.
Okay. Have you ever seen the ad before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I
What are
mean,
your
that's
thoughts?
New York City because I can see it in the cab there.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I'll take a picture of it and sit next to you next time we're in New York
Yeah,
City.
yeah. What do you think? Do you think insurance companies? Do you think the consumer feels screwed by the insurance company?
I don't think the consumer understands the insurance company and their standpoint of how they pay out claims because they don't understand why their rates went up.
Yeah.
They don't understand why they're not getting the money that they feel they should get on their claim.
Yeah.
They think their car is more valuable than it actually is.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in as an agent of actually educating your client and of what they actually get out of insurance. And it's the education part back to your client. But I mean,
100 years should have parentheses that says insurance without 100 years of experience screwing you, parentheses, unless you have an independent insurance agent to help you not get screwed.
Bingo.
I don't think that would fit very well on that.
It's a lot of wording, but we can make that happen.
1 by 4.
We can make it happen. I think we can
It's
do
a
it.
lot of wording, but we could probably make it.
If
we go to 4 font.
not to disgrade this, but they also haven't had 100 years of experience of what has happened.
Solid point, Chad.
So it's the other carriers have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge.
It's
so
a solid point.
what they don't know might also
be biting them,
be screwing the client.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the thing with insurance. We'll go back to what I first started talking about is how long have I been doing insurance? And back then we didn't have service line coverage. We didn't have equipment breakdown coverage. We didn't have glass coverage back in the day. It was all plain Jane. It all fit in this thing. And if it didn't, and it's now insurance is evolving into more of a maintenance policy in a sense.
In a weird way.
In a weird way it is. And back in the day, it was never a maintenance policy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had insureds calling, can I get my gutters replaced? The paint's peeling off. No, it's not a maintenance policy.
Yeah, right.
There's not been a loss in the home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely evolving. And I think the carriers, some point in time, they have a hard time catching up with it.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
I agree. Let me get that off the screen and that off the screen as well, just because they had some bad words in them. But what makes a killer agent? What makes an agent unstoppably amazing?
Drive.
Okay. Grit, I guess.
Grit, drive, vision, a goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, if the agent doesn't know, you put agent A in the seat that doesn't have the education or the knowledge or the want.
Yeah.
If they don't have the want, they're not going to have the drive to go get what they want. And if you have the want, you'll go get the knowledge to learn
and achieve.
And knowledge is power. You can't just ask. She's no longer with it, but I had an underwriter back in the day that she would not
write a house with a mine shaft in the backyard.
Correct. She would not, but she would not. If I called her for an underwriting question, she would not answer my question for me. She would go tell me where to find it. Yeah. And I love her to death. And I don't even know if she's around anymore, what have you, but she made me not ask the question, but she made me go find the answer. So now I know how to go read a policy jacket.
Right.
How many agents know how to read a policy jacket, or do they just pick up the 1-800
I need an answer to this question real fast. Yeah.
Do you know how to open up a policy jacket and look at the underwriting guidelines and sit there and go, yes, they'll take it. No, they won't take it.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have the agent that has the knowledge to go get what they want. And as long as they have the drive to do it, nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to stop them.
I agree completely. I also love like an agent who goes, what's normal? And you're going, well, let's just say $100,000 is a pretty good amount of business to write in a month. And they're like, okay, I'll go do that.
Yeah.
And then they hit $100,000 and they go, okay, I did that. So
what's next?
What's next? How do I do? What's the next thing I should go accomplish? And you're like, this is what you should go accomplish. And they go, okay, I'll be back. And then it's like, okay, we'll see you when you get that one done. And then they come back and they go, okay, I did that. Tell me what I should do next. And I love when that happens because there's no holds bars. It's just like, hey, go do this. Okay, I'll go do it.
You can't be a status quo agent.
Yeah.
I'm going to do I got my 1 lead per day. I don't want any more. I'm good. No. You got 4 leads a day?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Go get 5.
Yeah.
You know, push yourself.
Yeah.
If you're just going to be, all right, I got my 1-2 leads per day. I'm going to go take the dog for a walk 15 times and go watch video games or do whatever you're going to do.
Right.
You know, no.
Yeah.
Go make something out of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the worst you've ever seen a bridge burnt? This is a slide of somebody doing a chat with an insurance company. They didn't get the answer they want. So that says, and you won't let them reinstate? And he says, nah, just go screw yourself. What a crappy company. It uses much more colorful language than that. You might be able to read it on the screen or not. But what's the best way? What's the most dynamic way you've ever seen somebody just light a bridge on fire?
Going after the underwriter.
Yeah.
The biggest bridge you can light is your carrier underwriter, because they're pretty much dedicated to you or your agency or whatever it might be, the group. And if you light that fire with that underwriter and tell them to go pound sand, they're not doing their job.
Right.
You've got to understand what their job is too, is to protect the carrier and what have you. And you might not agree with that, but you shut the door and you move on to the next carrier. If you burn a bridge with your underwriter, good luck getting the next one approved.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that. Yeah.
Yep.
Cardinal sin. Don't give out the phone number like Sean Michael Walker does.
I don't. Tell me. Let's get into the 5 pillars. Okay. Let's wrap up with the 5 pillars. 5 pillars: marketing, or pipeline, and sales. So let's start with pipeline. How do you fill your pipeline?
Every single day.
I love that answer.
Every single day.
Good. Who cares how I fill it? I fill it.
I feel it. You got to look at, everyone probably has the same thing in here. It's not rocket science. Right. Insurance isn't rocket science. Right. If anyone wants to call me and say, how do I do this? I'll tell you exactly how to do it, but I can't make you do it. You've got to go want to do it and go do it for yourself without somebody whipping you, what have you. So, I mean, how do you fill up your pipeline? You're always reaching out to mortgage brokers. Yeah. You're looking at your current clients. You have your 5 buckets that you're going to fill. Where are you going to fill up you don't want all your leads to come from one source. You're going to do referral partners, current clients. I'm going to go after the RV industry. So I've got a big network there. So I'm going to start going after them. And we're actually creating content for social media so I can go out there. So that's another avenue for me. But I'm trying to evolve. Everyone does giveaways on social media, what have you. Do something. Yeah. You can't aggressively sit down there and wait for the phone to ring.
You're hilarious on Facebook, and you do.
My wife is hilarious on Facebook. Okay, Mind you, I'll take
get clients from being so funny for being hilarious? I would think you would, because I read it. I'm like, it's so funny, man. And I would think at some point, somebody's going to see it and be like, I don't know who you are, but I want you in my life.
Sometimes, but you got to be human too.
Yeah, right.
You got to be human to your clients and let clients know who you are, and they want to work with somebody that they can jive with. And I want to work with clients that are funny. Right. I want a client to call me and BS with me for 20 minutes, and then you're a $5 an hour an agent. Yeah, and my wife is looking at me going, $5 or $100 an hour agent.
Shut up and get back to work.
Shut up. Get back to your desk. Yeah. Get back to your desk. Yeah. But
we made that little plywood desk for you. Get back to it.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a beautiful plywood desk.
Yeah, right.
But going on with your marketing and the 5 pillars, the marketing, you've always got to be filling up your pipeline. And if you're sitting there waiting for the lead to come in, you're doing it wrong. You got to keep on going with it. Yeah. So,
on that note, they're making a commercial about you this week, aren't they? Isn't somebody going to come film your family because you guys are so gosh darn cute?
It's just because of the lifestyle that we do. My wife reached out, Us and the Mutts on Instagram. If you want to follow us, Us and the Mutts on Instagram, you're welcome. So my wife started an Instagram for us to just.
We have 5 followers.
5 followers. We're up to 6, hopefully, after this podcast. But anyways, she started an Instagram, just a place to photo dump all of our photos. And she started getting followers. So actually we're getting those pretty good. And one of the companies out there that does educational things for kids on the road,
homeschooled kids.
They gamify education for kids. Right. They reached out to my wife, and we're actually going to be in a commercial. So if you see a commercial, education for kids on iPads and what have you, and you see a travel trailer driving down the road, you'll probably see us. And they're doing that next week. So they're flying out a 6-person commercial crew.
Camera crew.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. Yep. All right. So marketing pipeline, we got that. I love your answer. Sales. We've kind of hit on this one, but what's your salesiest sales pitch? Well, let's just say the consultant Chad is no longer in the room. He's trying to go like, Sean, you really have to buy my freaking policy. Like, what's the salesy thing you do, or salesiest sales thing you say?
Oh God, I don't
like,
ever
buy
call.
it or don't buy it. I don't give a flying flip. Mine's better than theirs. See you later. Bye.
I don't know if I have a salesy sales pitch. I want to always be true. And I've always thought of myself not as a salesperson, but as a consultant.
Right.
Because if I consult the client of their insurance policy,
Mm-hmm.
they will know what they have purchased. And if they know what they have purchased, they're going to be comfortable with what I sold them.
Yeah, right.
So I don't want to be a sales guy. I want to be an education guy. And I want to educate the client of what they are actually purchasing and why they are purchasing it.
So maybe the salesiest thing you do is wedging out the other policy they have and put yours in.
Did it last night against
the
a
captive.
captive.
Your other policy stinks compared to my policy. That's the end of the story. I'm not selling you anything. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. We'll see you.
My sales pitch last night in the hotel room, I'm talking to a client before we're flying out here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the hotel room last night and I'm talking to a client and they're with a captive agency and they got a quote from the captive and they called me an independent. And I was like, a captive company, the agent actually works for the company, but with an independent agency, I actually work for you.
Yeah.
So I do what you want me to do. And I am here for you as your liaison to these carriers that I represent.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. And the client was like, I actually want to work with an independent agent that works for me, not for the company.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got your best interest at heart, not the carriers.
Yeah. I got a ton of products. I can say the right one for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So be the right place, the right time.
Okay.
Yep.
Retention. Where do you think the right line in the sand is to like call the client and be like, whoa, you need to know, I am aware of your rate increase and I'm here to help.
We recently moved that because it was
moved the line in the sand.
Moved the line in the sand. It was 10%.
Okay.
COVID happened, increasing the lumber costs, labor costs, everything we were talking about. All rates were going up, and I would be at home re-quoting everybody instead of getting new business. So there's that fine line. So we pushed it up to 15%.
Yeah, which I would say is pretty freaking normal.
Yeah, it's pretty normal, and that's what I've heard from the other people on the podcast here and what have you. But 15% is where we are now. I mean, if the rates level out, we might go down to a 10% too, what have you, but the rates have gone through the roof. You can only quote so much in a day.
Yeah, right.
There's only so much of Chad to go around, but it's 15% right now, but we touch on every single client. Yeah. Patrick, he's a freaking rock star. He's my partner in crime here too.
A rock star.
And my wife is my partner in crime. Yeah. But anyways, Patrick's a rock star. He just came on board with us probably about.
I was just about to say something horrible.
Don't.
And I.
But it'd be funny.
Like,
say it.
Don't say that. It's like ran through my head. Like, say that. Don't say that. That'll be
hamster.
Really bad.
Hamster fell off the wheel.
Stop,
oh God.
Yeah. Okay.
Patrick's just been killing it. I mean, if I could have asked for anybody to come on board here, Patrick's just been killing it. He's got drive. He's got everything that I want in an agent to have. He's a good guy, and he makes me look good, what have you. But
look at him. He looks like a male model. Like who does he look like?
He was.
Was he really?
I think he was Mr. GQ Colorado.
He's not that good looking. I mean, he's good looking, but not that good.
He's all right.
All right. Yeah. I mean, in that picture, he's really good looking, but in person, he's like 50% of that.
We should go get him. He's out in the hallway. So, Pat, we were just talking about you, buddy.
He'll show up in 2 weeks. Like, where's Sean Walker?
Yeah,
I want him dead.
Where's Sean Michael Walker? Let's talk about him.
Okay, so 15%. What do you do if a client calls you up and is like, hey, man, my policy went up 8%. What can you help me out?
Goes back to the education piece.
Like, hey, look,
you got to
there's
tell
no
them,
point in moving you right now.
You got to tell them why it's going up first, so they understand. Yeah. If they don't understand, it's just about price again. And you're not doing the education part. You got to bring them to the education. Tell them why the premium's going up. Yeah. Here's what you can expect. That's where our preemptive policy. I love when Jeff Holtman. Shout out to Jeff.
He's here, by the way. He was right behind.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Shout out to Jeff. I mean, I think he said it right when he's proactive. I like being a proactive agent instead of a reactive agent. So I like how he does his renewal, requotes, and what have you, and reach out to the client in midterm. Yep. It's brilliant.
I mean, I really like the midterm reach out. Do you like the midterm reach out? I really like the, hey, 6 months into the policy, hey, just so you know, I'm here for you. That way.
It adds another touch.
Yeah.
It adds another touch to the client, and you can actually reach out and feel the water.
Yeah.
Is the water cold? Is it warm? What have you? But when it does come over, I mean, you being there for your client is when that retention comes up. Yeah. Do I want to go to a new agent? I really like Patrick. I really like Chad. I really like Lindsay. Right. I want to stick with that agency because I like my agent. Yeah. If client likes you, they're going to stay with you forever. Yep. So, I mean, everyone gets touched. I mean, you got to requote and see if you can save them, what have you. But education.
Technology you use in your agency.
I have a automation. I think automation's huge.
You mean a CRM?
CRM. It takes the it's another me.
Okay.
Doing stuff in the background. That's not me doing it. It makes me there without being there. That's building, growing, and evolving as we speak. It's making the client experience what it needs to be. So it's you got to make everything simple.
Yeah.
If you can streamline everything and make it simple for the client aspect, for claims, for service, for the sales, for your referral partners, they'll want to work with you.
Yeah.
If, hey, I've got this app for your referral partners. I've got this app that you can directly send me leads. Great. Shout out to the Glove Box boys. But it's smooth and what have you. And that's what people want to work with, that are actually moving with the times. And I think that's sometimes the detriment of these carriers. They don't move with the times. They're locked up in their 1960s,
100 years,
100 years old, and they're not moving with the times and getting on with the technology. So communication.
You use Agency Zoom?
I do.
What you use?
Yep. Agency Zoom.
Which is beautiful, right?
It's beautiful. People got to understand that there's not one single platform out there that's going to do what you want it to.
Yeah.
That they all do
something awesome.
90% of it.
Yeah.
But that 10% that you really want, they won't do.
Yeah.
And you got to find something else that will solve that or move on. Yeah. And I get stuck on that a lot. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
No one is, but you got Agency Zoom does a lot of great things, but I want to go take it to that next level and what have you. So it's always moving the bar. Yep.
And they just recently got bought, right? Like in the last 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah, Vertifor, I think, bought them.
Vertifor bought them.
Yep. They've got a really slick platform, and it was mainly there's better agency out there that they've got a really great platform, but we had a thing with Ivan's downloads and what have you that it just
wasn't functioning
the way it would for me. And the boys over at Agency Elephant, give them a shout out too. They've got a great freaking product out there. I didn't have the time to invest into it at that. So I want to talk to those boys. They might
have fixed that by now.
I think they did, and that's why I want to talk to him again. So Brian.
Don't talk to Brian.
I know. But he's got the beard.
He does have a beautiful beard. if you like food in a beard kind of thing.
What, yeah.
He's always got food in his beard. It's disgusting.
Really?
I'm joking. I just have to get out.
Well, you hate him, right?
I can't. I literally cannot stand the man.
I know that. I was just going to put that on there.
That's not true. He's actually a wonderful
I'm going to give it out.
His voice is not as deep as you'd expect, though. I just want to throw that out there.
Is it a high? Hi, this is Brian.
High, but it's higher. Yeah.
Grew out a manly beard just to hide the.
I said that to him one time. He got so pissed. He's going to be pissed about this. But I'm joking. I'm just joking, Brian. We love you. You're great.
The boys over at Agency Elephant, they do fantastic.
Yeah.
They have on their platform, they're there for their clients. I'm going to give a shout out to them because they're there every week with an online learning seminar to what do you have? What questions do you have? And they're there they're there for them.
Yeah, that's right.
They do great work over there. And so,
let's wrap up. Any words of wisdom that you would have for a new kid getting into the industry, or Chad Maxey got started in the industry, I don't know, let's call it 24 years old or whatever age you started. What would you give that advice? What advice would you give to yourself back then? Or what advice would you give to some college kid who's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, shoot, here's insurance. Maybe I'll do this.
I'm going to say this because I say it to my wife all the time.
Okay.
I wish I started my own agency.
Yeah, everybody says that, right?
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And here I am just loving it. So don't let anything hold you back.
Yeah.
Don't let your current position hold you back from going in a direction that you see your life and how you want to live and how you want to be.
It's a good advice.
Yeah, go do what you want to do and be that vessel. I mean, if you want to go own an independent agency, go do it. Yeah. And don't let anything hold you back. Hold yourself to standards. Who does goal planning out there? Mm-hmm. A lot of agents don't do goal planning, and do your goal planning every month of what do I want to write this month? What is my close ratio? And if you don't know your close ratio, figure it out. Right. But you need to know your dynamics of how to work. Here's the number I want to hit. Here's my close ratio. Here's my average household premium. Here's how many leads I need to go get. Now, how am I going to go get those leads?
Right.
And go do it.
Yeah.
Hold yourself to a standard.
Yeah.
There's no one else there. Don't wait for a boss to come tell you to do it. Go do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't your dad give you the advice that he would have given you
to stay put
20 years ago? I mean, I know you love him and you think the world of him and all that kind of stuff, but why 20 years ago didn't he go, hey kid?
I didn't know. It was the knowledge. It was just I've been around the block and the things that I know now. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know a few things.
Said, son, you're not the smartest guy.
You're not You're the
sit at this agency.
You're not the sharpest tool in the shed, son. But good Lord. But yeah, just because I didn't have the knowledge to do it, I wasn't mature enough. I was a hellion in my 20s and 30s. Trinity can tell you. I mean, good Lord. Sorry, mom and dad, for what I put you through back in the day, but it was hell. But you know, you mature and you get to the point of where you actually know what the hell you're doing. And once you know what you're doing, and honestly, it's my wife and my kids, because back then I wasn't married.
Yeah. You didn't have the support group.
Didn't have the support group, didn't have the kids.
Yeah,
where
you
the hell am I
mentioned your
going
wife a lot, but you know, my wife is everything to me. And so it's kind of like, hey, what will we go do together? You know, and when you have her support and she goes, let's go all in on this, it's like, we can't fail. You know, my wife is not going to let us fail, you know, and I wouldn't either. But, you know, once you have your significant other's support and going, Chad, let's go get this.
You have to have the support group.
Oh, well, then this will never go awry.
Yeah. You have to have the support group that's sitting there cheering you on and being your cheerleader. Patrick, another shout out to him. I mean, there's some other agents out there that are just doing fantastic things. They're moving and shaking in the industry, and I'm so proud of them. I mean, shout out to the girls over at Legacy over there. They're just doing fantastic things over there.
Johnny and Olivia are amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing. They're amazing. Love them to death. There's just nothing's holding them back. And that's what I love. That's what makes a good agent. Don't let anything hold you back. Go achieve your goals, build your legacy insurance. That's what they're doing over there. So shout out to them. I mean, Patrick, he's doing freaking great things. The kid's writing bunches of business. He's writing really good business. I mean, he's writing better business than most of them out there. And he's got like a freaking 90% close ratio. Yeah. The kid's killing it. He's going to do great things. And I'm so glad he's with us and what have you. And it's just, what makes a good agent? What advice? Go do it. Yeah. Go do it.
Joni and Olivia will always have a cold, wintry morning at La Hacienda.
La Hacienda.
All right. Anything else you want to say? This is your moment. You're the kindergartner who gets to take home the teddy bear for the weekend, and it's your special week.
If you would like a quote from, just kidding,
Atlas Insurance.
from Atlas Insurance, call. No.
Well, I don't think the consumer's actually listening to this. Just a bunch of dorky insurance agents.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for everyone out there is just enjoy what you're doing. Have fun. Go get it. Because with insurance, what I love about insurance is you can achieve anything. You can achieve the work life. You can achieve whatever kind of money you want to make. You can grow whatever you want. You can travel the country and go see the world for the next however long you want to. You know, the world's your oyster. Shuck it. Go get after it. So,
Do you shuck oysters or do you shuck corn, ears of corn?
Both. Where are you from?
Both.
Nebraska?
Oh, interesting. No, I'm from San Francisco.
I think somebody's going to call me out.
I think you do shuck both, right?
I don't know. Somebody tell us. Do you shuck an oyster?
Jacob's saying you shuck both. Is there anything else that you shuck besides oysters and ears of corn?
My kids say shucks.
Shucks. Oh, shucks.
Shucky darns.
Shucky darns.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. That is all we have for you today. The world, I want you to know Chad Maxey. If you don't know Chad Maxey, get in touch with Chad Maxey. He's freaking amazing. I'm sure you know that now. But
I appreciate you having me on, Sean.
You're amazing, Chad.
Thanks, sir.
All right. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Premier Group Insurance is providing this podcast for informational uses only. This podcast should not be relied on as legal or medical advice. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Premier Group Insurance. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsement to them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Premier Group Insurance employees, i.e. Sean Michael Walker, are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of Premier Group Insurance. Copyright 2022. Premier Group Insurance, Inc. All rights reserved.